Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll be showcasing our new arch box dies. There is a large and a small version of this box, and then also we have some add-on products. I'll step you through creating 3 different versions of our arch boxes. So the first version I'm going to show you is our large arch box turned into a mailbox by pairing the large arch box die with the post box details die, and also the fancy feet. So this is the first one that I'm going to show you how to put that together, and I've already done a lot of the die cutting and fussy work here so that we can just kind of get to putting it together. So the post box detail die includes 2 different flap dies. There's a rectangular flap, so this will score on the bottom and then cut 3 sides, which is what I did right here. There's also an arch flap, again cuts the arch shape and scores the bottom of that, so you can use this in multiple different ways. And then the set also includes a slot die, so if you want to use instead of a flap, you want to cut a slit for like a mail slot instead, you can do that. Of course, you're going to want to snip these apart so that you can use just that. And then there's these other 2 dies match up with the flaps, so you can kind of create like contrasting mats to layer over the top of the flaps. So like I said, already have a lot of our die cutting done. These are super easy to assemble and to put together, so they're great for holiday treat boxes, teacher gifts, that sort of thing. Super quick and easy. There's just the 2 pieces needed to assemble the box. So I have already embellished the front of my box here. I cut the rectangular flap. This cute little keyhole detail is also included in the post box detail die. I adhered that as well, and I positioned it so it acts as kind of a little tab to hold my flap closed. And then I've embellished it with some images from the North Pole post set. And so we're going to go ahead and assemble this. Super easy, just adhere 2 die cuts together on the side flap. I've got double-sided tape already put onto my flaps. And then just adhere that second flap. And then you'll want to bend the bottom flaps to close up the box. Again, I have some double-sided tape on the back side of one of the flaps. That's all you need to assemble this, and then make sure it's nice and squared up when you adhere that bottom flap instead of, otherwise your box is going to be a little bit wonky, so just make sure everything's nicely squared up before attaching that bottom flap. And then the top, there's a couple score lines here, and you can just fold those inside, and then there's score lines right above this tab here, and then all you need to do is add some ribbon and tie that shut, or twine, or whatever else you'd like to use to tie that closed. All right, we also want to add some feet to our mailbox, and I'm going to do that using the fancy feet die. This is a fun die that creates these pretty detailed feet, and all we need to do is fold those. They're symmetrical and they have a score line down the center, so just go ahead and fold that on that score line. I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere these, and I'm just going to put liquid glue kind of on the top half. So this is your bottom, this is your leg. You don't want to add any adhesive there. And then just go ahead and add those to each of the 4 corners of your box. There's our mailbox all finished. We can fill it up with some treats, tie it shut. It's very generously sized, so you can fit some nice treats inside of there. You can also fit a gift card, which I will show you on our next box. Next up, we're going to use the large arch box die combined with the single arch door, the large one, to create this cute little scene, which is actually also a gift card holder. The small arch box die also has a small arch door that coordinates with it. But right now we're going to use the large one, which is sized great for the gift card holder. So again, I've done a lot of the die cutting off screen. I die cut 2 of my large arch boxes so that I can assemble those. I also used the plain arch die that's included in the large arch box set, and I lined that up with the bottom so that the bottom edge of that arch is even with the bottom score line. So that's going to create our opening, and I'm going to take, this is our large arch door, and I'm going to adhere that by putting some adhesive around the arch frame that's attached to the door, and that will just fit perfectly over the top of that cutout. I'm going to flip it around to the back side so I can get a little better visual and make sure I have that all lined up. And then I'm going to fold, I did not put any adhesive along the bottom edge of the frame of the door because that is going to actually get trimmed off. So I'm going to fold the bottom flap of my box and then trim that bottom piece away from the door frame, because we want it to just be able to open like that. All right, so I adhered my 2 box pieces together, but before I assemble this into a box, I'm actually going to create a little pocket on the inside of my box for a gift card. To do that, I've used my A2 Arches die set, and I chose the arch from the set that is just slightly narrower than the width of my box. And then I took the arch flap from the postmark details die that I just showed you in our last box that we put together, and I die cut that from the arch. So I have this little open flap. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this little pocket. I'm going to turn this into a pocket, and by just adding adhesive around the outer edges, and I'm going to adhere that to the inside of my box before I finish assembling it. Okay, so I adhered that, and then I have a little gift card here, and you can see we'll be able to just tuck that gift card inside. So I'll go ahead and finish assembling my box. Super easy. Just do that last flap and close up the bottom. Okay, and before I close that up, I'm going to add just a cute little bottle brush tree to the inside. I have some double-sided tape on the bottom of the tree, and I can just go ahead and plop that in there. And we can take our gift card and tuck that right inside in that little pocket that we created. And then we can tie the flaps shut, and we have this cute little scene box gift card holder. You can embellish it however you'd like. I used the Hung with Care die to create the swag above the doorway, and then I put a little wreath on the door, and that wreath is from our Curio Attic Ornaments die. And I also put a little sentiment on the side. This is from an older stamp set that we're just releasing a die to match. This is called Tagged Elegance, and we're just releasing a die to match that. We've had a lot of requests for that, so that's coming your way too as part of our new collection. So a super fun way to create a gift card holder. And last but not least, we're going to put together one of the small arch boxes. And this time I have die cut the arch window from the box using the arch die that's included in the small arch box set. I once again lined up the bottom edge of that arch die with the scored bottom of my box. And I'm actually going to back this with some acetate to create a window. So I have die cut the box from acetate as well. Sometimes acetate doesn't like to cut very well. Some are better than others. This kind that I have in my stash right now is definitely harder to cut than some of the others that I've used, and so basically it just kind of embossed more than cut, which is fine, because then I can go ahead and just trim that away. And I'm also going to trim just a little bit of length off of the bottom flap. So I don't have my whole box here. I just basically have the front so that I can use this to back my opening. So I'll go ahead and add some adhesive to the back side of my die cut that the window is cut from. And this just seals up that window, so if you want to put some smaller candy or whatever else you're putting in here, nothing can come out of that window. Make sure that I kind of folded on that score line here, and I'll make sure that that's secured to the bottom flap, and so that nothing can escape out that window. So that's kind of all closed up. And I have stamped already with the Holiday Arch Sentiment stamp set. That set coordinates with the opening in the small arch box. It does not coordinate with the opening in the large box, just the small one. And then I can go ahead and put my box together. And then I have the rest of the sentiment, which was also stamped with the Holiday Arch Sentiment stamp set, and I'm going to add that to the front of my window with some pop dots. So there we have a cute little box with a window in the front. Would make a super cute little favor, or even like a place setting. All sorts of fun uses for that. You can add some ribbon to the top to tie that closed, or twine, whatever you'd like. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this look at our new Arch Box product suite, which contains large and small arch box dies and coordinating accessories. So all of these new products will be available from thegreetery.com beginning on Wednesday, October 2 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon.